to be back here on the stage at Web Summit, especially because I'm here to share my knowledge about something that may be naive to some, but for me is very special. In a world that we see, in which we seem to be losing the humanity, I'm here to share another angle, an angle where there's a prosperous connection between kindness and business success. In order to do that, I'd like to invite you on this journey and think with me about the most valuable relationships in your life. What those relationships have in common. In my case, the relationships that matter the most are the ones that are based on kindness. And I was very fortunate to have learned that throughout my family. I come from a family of divorced parents who married again to other people, and they all found a way to remain friends. And now I have two moms, two dads, as you can see in the pictures. And with the kindness that they showed me is what I used to look out for my friends and find my husband. And together with my husband, I became a mother of four, one human, three dogs. And together with my husband, we apply all the knowledge, all the experience of kindness that we've learned within our family. But when I talk about being kind, I'm not talking about being nice. And don't think that this family that seems to be perfect doesn't have its conflict. Well, of course it has. But when we're just nice, we actually avoid saying the truths so we can avoid conflict. And that's why kindness is way harder. It's not about being fluffy, polite, or cute. It's about an intentional behavior that shows us, let me see here. An intentional behavior. I'm kind of lost here. Okay. An intentional behavior that puts people at the center of everything we do. This requires attention. This requires empathy to understand a perspective that is not our own. It requires honesty to say the easy and the hard truths so we can together find a way to solve the things together. It's the way that we build connection by balancing all the needs of all the people involved. And that's the trust that emerges from it. Now, when I started working, I was 16 at the time. I had a whole different experience than what I had in my family. And I guess you have too, right? So when we go to the professional world, we are faced with a lot of things that we don't expect. And I must say that I tried a little bit of everything. I started as a journalist, then I became an engineer, then I worked in sales, then in marketing, then I became a leader, then I became a mentor in B2B, in B2C, in big corps, in startups, in consultancies, and now as an entrepreneur. I tried a little bit of everything, but the pattern was the same. Unkindness is sort of the thing that we see every time when someone says that you only have the attention if you scream louder. It's when we hear from people, okay, it's okay to lie to the customer if we don't have this ready yet. It's when we say that we have to do whatever it takes to reach the next level. Or it's when people say that in order to be respectful, a respected leader, you have to be tough. You have to have a firm hand. That's what we learn with this experience. And even though we like being treated with kindness, that's not the pattern that we see in business. And that's actually harmful for business. And you can even say that's my personal experience, and that's valid. That's why I came and looked for a lot of data, studies, and cases that I could prove you otherwise. And here's what I found. I found a lot of data related to kindness in business. It's like, in all the sources that we already use in our business, from Harvard, Gartner, etc., this is what I found. It all points to a good connection between kindness and business success. But this thing you have in your hands, this data, you can look for it later. So I won't approach that. What I want now is to share a story, because even though data proves things, It's the story that makes us feel together. It's what is going to inspire you. It's what is going to make you understand my point. So I want to tell you a story about a woman on a plane. I was returning home on a domestic flight, and there was this woman. She looked tired. She sat on one of the first rows where you have a little bit of more space, right? And then once she did that, she saw her seat didn't recline. And then she panicked. She immediately called for the flight attendant and she said, and then I understood, I have a disability. I have chronic pain. I suffer from chronic pain and I need to support my head. That's why I got this seat by the window with more space. But if it doesn't recline, the flight is going to be a torture for me. Then the flight attendant called another guy. The guy was pissed because the flight was late. Then he tested the seat. He saw it wasn't working. And then he said to her, listen, this seat is broken. You cannot use it. So you're going to have to sit at the back of the plane in a middle seat by the corridor. And then she explained her situation to him. He didn't understand. He looked at her like up and down as if he wasn't believing in her. And then he said, ma'am, I don't know if you understood. This flight is late. So you either go to the other seat or you can leave the plane. So what do you prefer? And then this person started crying. And everyone was looking at her. Until then, a guy in the front row kindly offered his seat and sat on the back of the plane. And she went crying throughout the journey until it landed 3 hours later. This person is me. I suffer from a disability. I have a degenerate disease, and it causes chronic pain throughout my body. And no one believes me because if you see me, you have no idea that I have to went through surgery, treatments, and medications just to be here. And that's what happens. Not only with me, but with you too. It's not because of that, but we are frequently impacted by unkind businesses. I'm sure you are too. And when this happens, we have a vicious cycle that spreads kindness all around. This whatever it takes culture made this guy at the plane to feel stressed. He had psychological insecurity. He had to take off the plane at the time. And then he didn't have space to be kind with me. So he had no empathy with my situation. But it didn't impact just me. It impacted the whole plane. So what we had that there was a break of trust. And even though it seems like something quite subjective, right? It impacts into really tangible aspects of the business. When we have such an experience, we have bad NPS, we have churn, we have a loss of LTV. Inside it, we have turnover, we had mental health problems. So this impacts the business. And you can say to me, I know that. So why the hell don't we change the pattern? We don't change it because changing is fucking hard. And if whoever says it's easy, it's lying. Change is hard because it's almost going against our instinct of sticking to what you know and not avoiding what you don't know. And that's the problem. But I think that when we understand the logic, we are more open to try new things. And that's what I want to do here with you. I want to share a logic that explains how we can provide, how can we connect kindness and business success in order to be more tangible and intentional. And fortunately, this journey starts with ourselves. So we have everything we need here. We cannot be kind to others if we're not kind with ourselves. And this involves reaching to a purpose that unites people around it. And this purpose has to be translated into the process, into the culture, into the operation, into the behaviors we expect inside the company. And also, we have to treat with kindness the same people that work with us instead of only treating with kindness our customers. And then when we understand ourselves, we need to understand the outside world. And then kindness involves empathy. It's with empathy that we leave the bias, the judgment behind to really understand another perspective that is not our own. It's the perspective of the people whose problem we want to solve. And that's something that it's not just like a persona or a customer journey template that no one uses. What we need here is to get this information and use it like a treasure map, like a management tool towards kindness in business. How do we base our decisions by being kind to others, our customers, our stakeholders, and even inside the company? And when we understand both of these perspectives, that's when we add value. Kindness adds value when we understand that unique match between the customer's needs and what we have to provide, what we have best to solve that problem, and it's based on our purpose. But this value generation cannot be only about one interaction and one product. It has to be throughout the whole customer journey, because we only establish real connection once we do it. Since we start the relationship, then we attract and we keep the love alive with our customer. It's a long-term commitment, and the consistency on this commitment generates what all of us as business people want. We want to build trust with people all around us, from inside and out. And that's how we do it. The consistency of being kind builds trust. And we do that by continuously reviewing this process, measuring success, and improving the connection throughout the journey with our customers. And we can do that not only on a one-to-one basis, but also with our stakeholders, with our channels, with our investors, with the environment that surrounds us. And this is the basis of a method called kindness marketing. In a world where marketing is still too aggressive and too manipulative, Laizy, who is over there, 10 years ago created a method with a purpose of humanizing business in a kind way, through kindness and not with aggression or anything. And I believe so much in it that I became her partner, and now we work together with other companies to share this purpose and help guide companies to use kindness as a differentiation in their market. Now, this is not a vicious cycle. This is a virtual cycle. It starts with ourselves. We start with being kind to ourselves. It involves empathy. It adds value. It builds connection and builds trust. It's not something, as we may seem, that loses our ability to manage, but it's something that takes us further. And that's what I wanted to share with you. This is not rocket science, as you can see. It's a human ability, but it's also not the next hack. And we as marketers, we love a hack, but it's not about that. And honestly, in reality, we sort of have to adapt the journey to each context. And as it is a people-centric approach, once we understand that, that's how we improve this process towards kindness and differentiation. This is a systemic approach to balance the needs. It's not only my needs. It's not only the needs of the customer. It has to be the needs of the people around us. It has to be the needs of the business. Otherwise, we won't survive. And it has to be the needs of the ecosystem. We have to balance it all. So, you may say that this is not the only way to conduct business, and I agree. But it's not a naive one either. It's a needed one. And I hope that I have shared enough for you to believe it in me. A business driven by kindness is a business worth not fighting, It's worth spreading. Thank you so much. I hope you keep building up this, and I hope to keep up with the connection with you throughout my LinkedIn over there. Thank you so much. Let's spread kindness in business. Thank you.